All right, what's up, y'all? It's GLOCKOSAMA 2, and today we are going to be discussing something very important. Man, as y'all know, 2K has just gone off the deep end. I mean, the game is dead, the servers are dead, nobody really wants to play the game anymore. And it being one of the only basketball games, this is really disappointing and kind of disheartening, especially for the basketball community, because we can't really play any good basketball video games anymore. Now, instead of being like every other YouTuber and making a wish list for 2K26, knowing that none of it will be added, I actually decided to make a video on how 2K can actually be great again. I'm talking rewiring, restructuring the whole system that 2K follows. But before I get started, a huge thank you to AB_Aiden on IG and on TikTok. I'm gonna put his links up here in the description. I'm also gonna put it up here on the video. But a huge thanks to this guy because he made me a whole document basically with like almost like 10-12 pages for me to utilize. So this is basically all of his ideas. All I did was the voiceover and the editing. So everybody put in the comments, thanks Aiden, and let's get straight into the video. So basically what I would be reiterating or rewiring, what I mean by that is basically making a whole new game. And I know that sounds crazy to y'all, but once y'all hear, all the aspects that we bring forth, y'all will understand what we're talking about. So as 2K Sports continues to build upon its legacy with each new title, it's clear that the company remains focused on innovating with features like My Career, My Team, and gameplay mechanics to bring fans the best possible basketball experience. But there is a huge opportunity to expand this experience even further without diverting attention from new releases. So we can still have new releases like 2K26, 2K20, you know what I'm saying, and so on, but also have this sort of vault, kind of like Fortnite OG, but just a lot more advanced. And with the money that Take-Two brings in, it's definitely possible. So the NBA 2K Legacy Vault would be a digital platform built within the existing 2K ecosystem that gives players online access to classic 2K titles such as 2K15, 2K16, 2K17, 2K20. By reintroducing classic NBA 2K titles and providing online server access, 2K has a potential to significantly increase engagement and boost revenue for both current and future game iterations. And so not only would this be an investment, it wouldn't just be something that they throw their cash at, because people will buy, microtransactions and all that on this, but it'll also be like, a huge thank you to the fans and all that, and something that we've been asking for a very long time. Reviving these classic titles allows players who grew up with them to relive their favorite memories, strengthening their connection to the 2K series while still staying engaged with the memories, and strengthening their connection to the 2K series while still staying engaged with the latest NBA 2K. For those who might be hesitant to buy the newest version, reintroducing these classics creates a bridge that encourages them to make the jump. As they experience the nostalgia of these games, they will, according to the stats, invest in the latest 2K, purchase VC, and in other in-game content, which would help drive up overall revenue. Some examples of nostalgia actually impacting sales and impacting re-releases are The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, Skyrim Special Edition, Final Fantasy V, Grand Theft Auto and GTA Online, continuing to be the highest grossing game, although it isn't a re-release. Rockstar Games' ongoing updates for online mode of GTA 5 have been a key driver in microtransactions. So instead of just forgetting all the old games and just moving on to a new game every single year, we could, make a vault for all the NBA 2K titles and have online access to all of them, while also simultaneously releasing NBA 2K games. And that'll just drive up sales and everybody eats, basically. This is a huge untapped market because NBA 2K rarely ever taps into the nostalgia factor of humans, and it's very well known that humans react to nostalgia in very impressive ways. Games with a strong legacy benefit from nostalgia factor. Players who are attached to older titles are willing to invest in re-releases and also spend money on in-game content when the experience is refreshed. It also increases engagement. Remasters and remakes tend to not only boost initial sales, but also create a longer life cycle for the game. Reconnecting with old players and attracting new ones extends the revenue window for the game. In-game monetization as well. Re-releases games often see an increase in microtransactions as players want to invest more in updated experience, whether it's buying cosmetic skins and additional DLC. Bro, and we know all this applies to 2K because 2K is very nostalgic. The old 2K games bring nostalgia. Many players have emotional connection to older NBA 2K titles. Bringing them back would generate a strong sense of nostalgia, which can drive in re-engagement and more spending in newer titles. Just like the examples above, introducing older 2K games with online access can result in boosted sales of microtransactions and in-game purchases across the entire 2K ecosystem, driving the significant additional revenue for 2K Sports. I just don't understand why 2K hasn't tapped into this before. Like, I understand that it's very safe to just keep playing the same game that they've been playing, which is just releasing a basketball title and relying on the fact that they are the only basketball game in the market as of now. But where's the longevity in that? There is none. You have to tap into nostalgia. You have to tap into, the consumer, because at the end of the day, that is who is important. That is the person that is giving you money. Yet they are not tapping into any of the stuff that we want. This would also strengthen the community because, we have huge divides in the community and we always end up arguing on Reddit and on Twitter. Older games like 2K16, 2K17, 2K20 had some of the best My Park Blacktop experience and my career stories that resonated deeply with fans. These players are passionate and vocal, and they create a community that constantly discusses and shares the games. So instead of arguing about how, 2K is broken every year, we could actually be talking about something, that actually brings us united, like older games that they had released that had way better My Park experiences, way better My Career stories. Bring 2K back, like to its feet, because right now it's on its knees begging for you and for you to spend money on them. Reintroducing these titles help to revitalize the 2K community by bringing in longtime fans and encouraging cross-generation interaction, creating more buzz around the latest releases and offering a bridge between the. A common misconception is that if you make a remake, people won't buy your newer stuff. But I mean, that's just not true. When you make a remake, it shows, the stats show that people will buying the new Nintendo Switches. They end up buying more Mario games, Nostalgia really is a driving factor in the video game space. Whilst they're making this digital vault, they also won't lose revenue from newer games. While 2K can continue to release new titles and, reap the benefits from microtransactions and seasonal content, a legacy vault featuring older 2K titles with online play and the ability to access both nostalgia and modern gameplay, will encourage players to spend money on both, whether it's by purchasing VC for in-game progress in older titles or investing in the newest features. More players will be motivated to open their wallets across both older and newer games. Revolutionary stuff. This is business 101, and I really don't understand who's really behind the marketing team, because right now, as of now, when you look at 2K, it almost seems like a scheme to get your money, because they're trying to put in the least amount of effort and the least amount of funding in order to get the most amount of money out of people. Here's ways they can minimize additional developmental costs. While their costs are associated with reviving older games, 2K could minimize the burden by leveraging the existing server infrastructure used for the new games, using an online-only re-release with minimal changes, no need for the expensive graphical overhauls, just compatible updates, allowing fans to access these games digitally, reducing production and distribution costs. By dedicating a smaller budget to bring back fan-favorite classics, 2K can generate a substantial amount of returns by tapping into the nostalgic market, while continuing to grow the current user base with the latest game. We're not saying that it's going to be free, but if you just bring forth a small budget, a small investment, you will reap returns, and we will also be happy. It also increases the longevity for the 2K brand. Reintroducing older 2K titles doesn't just make financial sense, it keeps the 2K brand alive for longer periods. Players will continue to return to these legacy titles, driving continued sales, content creation, and word of mouth. It allows for a diverse and sustainable ecosystem where both old and new games can coexist, feeding off each other to keep the entire franchise relevant. So this won't kill off the newer franchise, and also will just reap returns for YouTubers. It will reap returns for content creators. So, the more content creators, the more YouTubers you have playing your games, whether that be the old ones or the new ones, right? Whether that be the newer releases or the vault, you're still reaping the benefits, because at the end of the day, this is the 2K brand. This isn't just about nostalgia. It's about creating an ecosystem where players can enjoy the rich history of 2K franchise while still being excited about the new releases. By offering access to classic games with classic mechanics, you provide a bridge between past and present, allowing players to rekindle their love for the series, driving them to engage with the latest version, and ultimately increasing revenue. Now we have some ideas for creators that made 2K global. It's really time to bring them back, because I'm not gonna hold y'all. Nobody is playing 2K anymore. At least nobody relevant. No offense to the 2K YouTubers, but you aren't so Illuminati. You're not Pretty Boy Fredo back in his prime. I mean, Agent 00. These people made millions off this game, and it's really a shame that they're not even playing the game anymore. They had to move on to other things just to make a sustainable career. And it's really time to bring them back from Illuminati's raw, entertaining park runs in 2K16 and 2K17 to Chris Smooth's splash catchphrase to Agent 00's deep dive gameplay breakdowns. They were more than just YouTubers. They were the face of 2K in its golden era. When you take a look at the peak 2K15, 2K17, 2K20, these titles weren't just successful, they created an entire generation of content creators and fans. During this stretch, Illuminati skyrocketed off the authentic park gameplay and viral reactions, becoming a non-religious cult figure within hundreds of millions of loyal fans. Chris Smooth's storytelling and signature style defined my career with hundreds of millions of views. Agent Zero broke down every detail of gameplay mechanics and park meta, as well as also talking about 2K drama. Pretty Boy Fredo, Hank the Tank, and Cash Nasty, Dento, Ticino, Lost and About. We have so many YouTubers. We had so many energy. We had so many rivalries. We really had a 2K culture that is just dead. Now all these YouTubers don't even touch the game anymore. Illuminati barely touches 2K. He had just, he recently came back to streaming. Agent 00 pivoted to comedy, reaction, basketball commentary content. His 2K uploads have slowed down, and I don't even remember last time he played the game. Chris Move posts less frequently and isn't really the center of the spotlight right now. Also just making like NBA recaps of the actual, NBA. NBA, Hank the Tank, Fredo, I Show Speed, Aiden Ross, Lesson Abound, Ticino, Duke Dennis. There's just not really any excitement, even during the releases, because, YouTubers would come back to 2K releases because, that drives up views. They don't even do that anymore because what's the point? And when you're being frank here, they didn't fall off. 2K did. 2K lost millions of views per day across YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. They lost to free marketing. They lost new player onboarding through viral clips. They also just lost overall cultural relevance on YouTube, Twitch, in the TikTok era. When you're looking at the Legacy Vault, this isn't a revival, or this isn't a re-release of a bunch of old games. It isn't just fan service. It's a rebirth of the 2K brand. So we have some ideas that, could set forth this rebrand or this rebirth to the 2K brand. We can let Illuminati log in and see old parks live again. Let Agent 00 host a 2K17 Vault Invitational on Twitch. I wouldn't say let Pretty Boy Fredo, but let Hank the Tank run back their OG squads. We can see Ticino, all the 2K OG greats go back into the older games and play with these, old squads, try to, raise hype and revenue. And I doubt that's even needed. But, what's the harm in, doing this? What's the harm in getting all this free revenue, free, publicity from OG content creators whenever you're reintroducing older games with this Legacy Vault? We need to bring back the culture. Creators are ready, fans are begging, the clips are still viral, the game is still fun, but they just need one thing. They need access to these old titles. The Legacy Vault unlocks more than old titles. It unlocks what made 2K great. Execution concepts, beta access and vault drops led by OG creators. We can have throwback park leaderboards with creator spotlights. We can have retro themed bundles, creator community collabs. Like, there's so many ideas that come with bringing this Legacy Vault brought forth. The Legacy Vault, it won't just bring back old games. It'll bring back what made people love 2K. All the rivalries, all the competition, the fun game modes, the community that we had. It brings all those things back. And at the end of the day, it makes Take-Two Interactive money. So there is no one that is losing in this situation. Some potential questions that 2K might have. Number one, why should we allocate resources towards bringing back older versions of NBA 2K when our focus is innovating each new title? And personally, I don't think there's much innovation going on to begin with. But, looking at it from their perspective, innovation will always be a foundation of NBA 2K success. But revisiting legacy titles is not a regression, it's a strategic progression. The NBA 2K Legacy Edition would allow 2K to tap into lucrative nostalgia market without compromising innovation on new releases. There is a large local segment of community that seeks the gameplay mechanics, my park environments, and storylines of earlier 2Ks. Meeting this demand would further strengthen player loyalty, drive increased playtime, and boost in-game spending without pulling resources from the current game development. Rather than detract from innovation, the Legacy Edition would enhance the NBA 2K ecosystem by offering a broader complementary experience. It represents a low-risk, high-reward opportunity to monetize past successes while also fueling the future. There is no reason that 2K can't do this. This is not, allocating the resources that we are using for new NBA 2Ks. This is making a whole new developmental team to bring back these older games with a certain budget, using the resources that we have from older games, and just making a vault and making them playable again. Would offering older versions negatively impact sales of newer NBA 2K releases? Simply no, they won't. Offering access to legacy titles would complement it, not impact the success of new releases. Players who have nostalgia for certain features or gameplay styles are more inclined to purchase the latest game if it offers access to beloved classic content. Bundling the Legacy Edition as a premium feature or a separate experience would also create an additional revenue stream while strengthening the overall brand experience. Now, there will be some issues, or could be some issues, when it comes to licensing and player likenesses. But I'm under the assumption that 2K does own or bought out most of those player likenesses and teams, and they also have, they have OG teams on the current gen of 2K. So I don't think this would be much of an issue. But if it were, then we could have, customizable generic placeholders, and people just make mods, to make the OG games have like current rosters if that's really an issue. This also incentivizes another thing, community driven content, enable players to opt in downloadable curated community created rosters and likenesses. Official licensed content packs could be offered as additional paid DLC, preserving the authenticity for those who desire without burdening base developmental costs. So it's a win-win at the end of the day. How could we prevent classic modes from feeling outdated or even undercutting new features? We can have regular updates, minor refreshes, seasonal content will keep classic modes lively. Integration of new features, carefully weave in select innovations from newer releases without compromising the classic feel. Community feedback, consistently gather player input to improve both legacy and current experiences. And trust me, there will be feedback. One thing that the 2K community doesn't hold back is feedback. They're always talking about how the game could be better. Seasonal events and challenges. You can tie classic modes into broader NBA 2K events to boost engagement across titles. And you can have also cross promotion. Use in-game incentives to introduce players to the Legacy Edition or from the Legacy Edition to new features in the current game. So at the end of the day, win-win again. What would be included in Legacy Edition? The NBA 2K Legacy Vault would deliver a hybrid experience by combining a beloved classic gameplay with modern enhancements. Just retention of original gameplay and mechanics, and just quality of life improvements, such as faster load times, refined controls, streamlined matchmaking, and maybe if they want an improvement of graphics or anything like that, like all that could be done. And even though 2K is continuing to sell millions, that doesn't really matter, because that's not because the game is good. It's because people are loyal to the game. 2K's continued annual success is proof of how loyal the fan base really is. Most of today's sales are driven by the fans who were emotionally invested during 2K's peak years, the peak years that would be reintroduced in the Legacy Vault. If they launched the Legacy Vault, 2K wouldn't be cannibalizing sales. It would be unlocking an untapped potential market. It's not taking away If anything, it's just adding on to the money pile that you already created. The NBA 2K Legacy Edition or Vault represents a smart strategic investment that complements innovation without sacrificing it. It deepens community engagement, expands revenue opportunities, and preserves the franchise rich history and secures NBA 2K's position as the gold standard in sports gaming for years to come. It can be a complete 180 from what 2K originally has done to us. It can be, a revival of sorts. And I'm sure that if this was done, I couldn't see anybody really making any hate videos on 2K anymore. If you listen throughout this whole video, I know this whole idea sounds crazy, but honestly, to me, it really doesn't. It seems like a very smart and creative and great investment that 2K could eventually, pull off. That was if they actually cared about the consumer. Now, I'm not saying that it is impossible for them to care, but like I said, unless they see this video, unless y'all like this video, comment, boost it in the algorithm, nobody will see this. Now, to end the video, I think we should go over how Legacy Vault makes money, but Modern 2K could still be the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't become a replacement to Modern 2K titles. Modern 2K can remain 2K's flagship, the annual blockbuster title with all the hype, new features, and real-time NBA content. Keeps driving the culture forward with live roster updates, the city, micro innovations, esports, brand partnerships, while the Legacy Vault offers fans a chance to reconnect with classic gameplay they beg to relive without touching the core game, satisfies the nostalgia market and longtime players feeling disconnected from today's meta, and generates millions in passive revenue through subscriptions. If they want to run it through a subscription or, whether that be any sort of subscription, microtransaction, and also legacy bundles. And this combo works because, no competition in the sports gaming space. Nobody else makes basketball games. And minimal development costs, maximum return, reactivates all users and keeps the new ones engaged longer. Modern NBA 2K evolves as the main experience, and Legacy Vault earns quietly in the background, kind of like, Netflix reruns or, Disney Plus Vault classics. Modern 2K is the future. Legacy 2K is the legacy, and it can also help fund the future. And we even have some projections of, how much money they could make off this legacy bundle. Um, you know, it's a crazy revenue. But yeah, guys, what do you guys think? Like, do you guys genuinely think that 2K could actually pull this off? Do you guys think that this is a good idea? Or if it's a bad idea, let us know. Again, huge shout out to AB Aiden on IG and AB Aiden on TikTok. He created all this. Huge thanks to this guy. He definitely put a lot of effort and time into this. So, let's keep things respectful. And let's hope some 2K developmental team sees this or something and, decides that this is a good idea. But I'll see you guys later. GLOCKOSAMA loves you guys. And let us know what y'all think. Quick note, he actually did get a response from 2K Interact. I don't know if this is like a generalized email that people get whenever they contact them, but he did get that, so I guess that was something that I wanted to include. All right, thanks for watching though.